violate their civil liberties. My lead source on this tonight is CNN's senior legal analyst and the former assistant U.S. attorney, Ellie Honig. And Ellie, I think a big question tonight, given this is so clearly focused on the comments that Mayor Fry and Governor Walz have made, is whether or not anything they have said meets the definition of obstructing law enforcement.
Absolutely not. This is core protected First Amendment political speech. And you can even tell, watching that clip of Todd Blanche, that he doesn't believe it because he hedged himself very lawyerly. He said, well, it's close to obstruction. If you have public officials, as we do here, making political speech, even if it's explosive, inflammatory, aggressive, and then that causes people to protest or to call 911, that is simply not obstruction of justice. If they bring an indictment for obstruction, I promise you they will lose. And bigger picture, Caitlin, over the last week or so, DOJ has lost its damn mind. I don't have a better way to put it than this. I mean, Renee Good gets shot 9 days ago, right? Fatally shot. It's immediately clear that we need an investigation, that the minutia, the moments, the seconds, the movements are going to matter. 3 days ago, Todd Blanche announces no crime and there will be no investigation. We don't even need all the facts. And instead, the reporting is they're investigating Renee Good and her widow for their associations, for who they're dealing with, for, again, First Amendment protected activity. And now we learn that they're looking criminally at elected leaders engaging in core protected First Amendment speech. They're just off the rails at this point.
Ellie, you're very fair in terms of calling balls and strikes, regardless whether it's a Trump case or what's happening with the DOJ now. Has anything the Justice Department done since the shooting of Renee Good made sense to you?
No. There's a couple core precepts here, right? One of the most basic things that any prosecutor does, and you don't have to be a prosecutor to understand this, is you investigate first, you see what the facts are, and then you draw your conclusion. The fact that they came out and said, we're not even going to investigate, we're not even going to look at what happened here, is against everything that you learn as a DOJ prosecutor. It's against everything I know Todd Blanche learned at the Southern District along with me. And they flipped it on its head.
It doesn't make sense to you that they are not investigating the ICE agent here, even just to look at the actions and what happened and how this played out. But they are investigating the mayor and the governor.
It only makes sense if you conceptualize DOJ fundamentally different from the way it's been run for the last half century plus, which is if you see DOJ as a tool of retribution, as a weapon of the executive branch, then this makes sense. But if you see DOJ according to its traditional norms and principles under both parties, then that you can't square that.
What about someone who looks at this and says, well, they're looking at what they've said. They've been riling up the protesters, which has been the argument from the administration and what I've heard at the White House this week, and says, well, they're not actually going to be charged. They're just doing this investigation to kind of, put a marker down. What would you say to that?
So, first of all, look, I've been critical of some of the things that I've heard from Mayor Walz and from the governor. I think they've said things that jump the gun. For example, I was critical of the mayor because he said we want a full and fair investigation, and then in the next step said that there was not self-defense. So I said, well, you're sort of doing the same thing here. You're drawing a conclusion. But he's not the Justice Department, right? And the other thing that I don't know if DOJ even realizes this. By making these public statements, they're sabotaging themselves. Because if they ever were to indict any of these folks who they've singled out explicitly, one of the DOJ spokesperson tweeted out FAFO, F around and find out just tonight. That's going to come back against them because any one of these people who gets indicted will have a very strong vindictive prosecution case that could get this thrown out. So I don't know if DOJ realizes it, but they're undermining their own cause here.
Well, that's the head of the Civil Rights Division, Harmeet Dillon, who is tweeting that. One thing that they've also said and been very critical of is they say cops in Minneapolis, officials in Minneapolis and Minnesota overall will not let federal officials into their jails when it comes to that. Is that something they could be under investigation
I'm glad
for?
you asked that. I personally am an opponent of sanctuary cities, and I acted up when I was at the state in New Jersey and a federal. I think that sanctuary cities policies are counterproductive. When state authorities say we're not going to share information, we're not going to let you into our prisons to make arrests, I think they're a bad idea, bad policy. But it is not criminal. The state does not have to cooperate with the feds. You can't obstruct, but there's no affirmative obligation to cooperate. So if you say we're not going to share information, we're not going to let you into our state facilities, that's fine. That's not criminal. There's a big difference there.
Ellie